Not looking for saints, group seeks Catholic vote versus Duterte candidates in May. Groups identifying themselves as conservative Catholics will campaign hard against President Rodrigo Duterte's senatorial candidates, one of their leaders said Wednesday, insisting on a so-called Catholic vote in the May elections. The Philippines' predominantly Catholic population has not been known to vote as a bloc, especially since church leaders do not dictate voting preferences. But Tris Alito David, executive director of Pro-Life Philippines Foundation, said like-minded groups would mobilize conservative Catholics to reject Duterte's candidates, especially those supporting the president's bloody drug war. More than 5,000 drug suspects have been killed, based on government figures, but human rights groups' estimates showed the number to be thrice as high. Kung kitaligo ka tunay na kitaligo ka hindi mo sa deportahan yung EJK, extrajudicial killings, David told ABS-CBN News. Duterte's sustained attacks on the Catholic Church and some bishops and priests, he said, could also galvanize a Catholic vote against administration candidates. David ran for senator in 2013 under the church-based Kapatiran Party, but was rejected as a nuisance candidate in the two elections that followed. Negative Catholic vote. Archbishop Socrates Villegas on Tuesday came out with a powerful video compiling Duterte's insults on the Catholic Church, including statements that mock the God of Christians as stupid. At the end of the video posted on his Facebook account, Villegas said, "The Lord said, 'Are you betraying the Son of Man with a kiss?' My dear brothers and sisters, are you going to betray God? Are you going to deny your faith by your vote?" David said the message from Villegas, a former Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines president, could encourage more Catholics to reject Duterte's candidates. There is a negative Catholic vote, David said, pegging the number of conservative Catholics to be mobilized at 8 to 10 million. David said groups such as Pro-Life Philippines would come out with a negative list of candidates, or those Catholics would be encouraged to ignore in the senatorial election. A positive list will name candidates rejecting extrajudicial killings, and who support the Catholic position on issues such as same-sex marriage, divorce, and euthanasia. "We will not dictate kung sino lang iboboto pero na yung listahan," David said. "We will not dictate who they should vote for, but we have this list. Hindi tayo naghahanapang santo. Ang hinahanap natin, sino yung mga politiko na magdadaan ng katuruan ng simbahan sa politika? Yan yung mas important. We are not looking for saints. We are looking for politicians who will bring justice to the Church. That's what is important. Credibility. But such a vote historically did not show in previous elections," said Ronald Holmes, president of the polling firm Pulse Research Incorporated. "There is no Catholic vote," he told ABS-CBN News, noting that candidates who backed the highly divisive reproductive health law still won in 2013. The Catholic Church, he said, would also find it hard to organize a voting bloc given its own credibility problems, the way the regular clergy, not solely the bishops, are seen by the faithful. It also remains to be seen, he said, whether Duterte's rebuke of church leaders would affect the chances of his candidates, who have not gone to the extent of attacking the institutional church or its doctrine as Duterte has. Lawyer Michael Henry Yazinko, senior research fellow at the Teneo Policy Center, also played down the idea of a Catholic vote emerging as a result of the president's criticism. But Jacinto described as a mystery how many Catholics could separate their religious life from their civic life. So many of us will believe in mercy, love for fellow man. And yet we would not be moved by the hundreds of thousands of EJKs, he told ANC's early edition.